Hey, Redheads and everyone else listening. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Adrian, and today's episode is so exciting because we're talking about microblading. So we really wanted to have someone really cool on to describe the process, if Redheads can do it. So we're having Katie Ellis on. She is a registered nurse turned beauty business entrepreneur. She has her own studio in the Central Valley of California.
In Fresno.
Yeah. And
where our mom's from.
Yeah. She's going to walk us through what the process is like, what redheads can expect, what they should do, even if you're not in California and you're her, obviously, or you can go anywhere, but it's really important to find the right person. And I think that's what like the secret is to microblading.
Well, especially it lasts so long. It's not
right.
I think you get it done once a year or something.
So what microblading is it's basically like a tattoo on the eyebrow.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what she has to say about how she matches the shade to red hair, because that's my biggest
most
thing.
Important.
Sometimes I see microblading and it's so harsh looking.
It's so harsh.
And
especially
I went on
people who have dark eyebrows. I think they make it even darker, and it's like so harsh.
And I like the natural, like effortless look. And if you're on Instagram, definitely check out, it's Kalon Studio. That's KALON Studio _ microblading, and you'll see Katie's Instagram, and that's how I found her. I think she posted a photo, and I want to talk to her about this, of a redhead who she did, and her reaction, the redhead, started tearing up. And
because redheads are like, oh my god, eyebrows.
I think she was like, oh my gosh, I finally have eyebrows. But I love the way everything looks so natural and not so like, oh my god, it's a tattoo.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Very
I'm showing
nice
Adrian some of her photos, and I just think
we'll put them in the podcast notes for everyone listening.
Yeah, so Katie Ellis is a registered nurse. She realized after 6 years in college and 2 years of nursing, her true passion was to help women feel beautiful through microblading. Giving her clients confidence through microblading currently today makes her heart soar and leaves her fulfilled every day. After 2 years in the beauty business, she's now getting ready to expand her studio in Fresno into a much bigger space to have the freedom to add more women on her team and to continue her positive impact in the Central Valley of California.
That's so awesome. So can't wait to talk with her. It's such an interesting topic. So let's give her a call.
Guess what, Redheads? The H2 Bar Box is now offering a deluxe version of the beauty box sent out 4 times a year in addition to the monthly box. You now have 2 options for enjoying the beauty subscription box for redheads. The monthly box is worth $80 plus, and the deluxe quarterly box is worth $250 plus.
Each and every product is redhead friendly approved. Head to h2barbox.com to subscribe and use code podcast to receive 20% off.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
How are you? Thank you for coming on.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Awesome. And we have to say, our mom is from the Fresno Central Valley area.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, she's originally from Woodlake, but then she moved to Visalia. Do you know that area?
Oh, yeah. Visalia. I have tons of clients from Visalia.
Cool.
Tons.
Wow. Yeah, if we ever go back to see family.
She wants to go back next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I should stop by the studio.
Yeah, definitely. Well, first, we just want to say thank you so much, because I think microblading in the redhead community is something that it's either redheads are really passionate about, and we hear that they've had such success with microblading. And then on the other hand, we see just a lot of questions we hear from our audience, and a lot who are scared maybe about the procedure. So to start, let's talk about what microblading is and kind of walk us through the process and who's the best candidate for microblading and just the procedure in general.
For someone who has no clue.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, I take a very, very tiny blade, very, very fine blade, and I implant pigment into the top layers of the skin. So it's not going as deep as like a traditional tattoo does. So that's why it's considered semi-permanent. So you do have to get it redone every like year and a half, depending on your skin type.
Okay.
So as far as candidates go, the first thing we look at is, does this person have any like major medical conditions? So since we are actually cutting into the skin, I want to feel confident that this person's going to be able to heal well and that it's not going to cause them any harm, because it's interesting when people are ready to have this done, they don't care. Like, they don't care if they have, you know, some type of ailment that's going to
like an autoimmune disorder or something.
Yeah. They just
Oh.
really want to have it done. So I have to be, you know, we have to be diligent about screening them medically. And then also, if someone is pregnant or breastfeeding, those are two big no-nos. So no pregnancy, no breastfeeding.
Wow.
Yeah. And then also, skin type plays a huge role. So in terms of like, are you dry? Are you oily? Are you combination? Do you have normal skin? That's really going to affect the way that the pigment heals and appears over time. So for microblading, generally it's normal to dry skin types heal the best. And it's not to say that oily skin types can't have microblading done, but we may need to incorporate some different techniques to give them the best healed results. You can kind of think about it like if you were to paint a picture and then you put a drop of oil on it and it kind of like spreads and blurs,
Right.
you know? It kind of, the oils in the skin cause the hair strokes to sort of blur out, and it just doesn't heal the best. So I'd say normal to dry, I've seen the best healed results.
Okay.
with
And
that.
how long does it take to heal?
I'd say everyone is so different. Of course, age is going to play a big factor. So I do have some people, some younger people who are healed like within a week. And then other people may take up to 2 weeks.
Okay. And does that mean is it like a scab?
Again, it varies.
Okay.
So some people, I always ask my clients, I'm always like, how was your healing process? Because I want to obviously get the feedback. And some people are like, oh my gosh, it wasn't even bad at all. I didn't have any scabbing. The brows didn't get really dark. They didn't peel off, none of that. Because some people do have that, because basically it's a little cut in the skin. So I always prepare them for the worst case scenario, which is you're going to have, each little cut becomes a scab.
That
and
would be
gets
me.
a little
Yeah.
I have such sensitive redhead skin. I'm telling you right now. I know I would have huge scabs. I know it.
Oh my God.
I know it. I know it. But then beauty is pain, so I would do it.
Right. I know. I always explain to people the worst case scenario that could happen during the aftercare, and then if they don't have it, then it's like, oh, whew, that was easy,
Yeah.
But yeah, it can get, swelling and inflammation set in. So that first week can be kind of emotional for some people. I've definitely gotten messages from people kind of freaking out, and because inflammation sets in and swelling starts, and so your brows look big and they look dark. But they won't stay like that.
Okay.
So it's really like the first week that's the roughest. And again, some people don't have any of that. So
it just depends.
It really just depends on the person, the skin type, how their body metabolizes the pigment.
Yeah. So if
all of that.
Yeah. So if a redhead sits down, and they want to get their eyebrows microbladed, how do you decide on the color of the brows?
So no matter what their hair color is, I'm always looking at their natural eyebrow hair.
Okay.
Because my goal is always to blend the simulated hair strokes that I'm making into the natural hair. Like, I want it to look seamless. I want it to look super duper natural. So I'm always looking at their natural eyebrow hair if they have any natural eyebrow hair. And I do have a good amount of experience with redheads. I've done several redheaded women, and then I've even done one redheaded man.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, when we were on your Instagram a couple of days ago, you shared a photo of one of your clients, and I think she was coming in, you said, for a touch-up, I remember reading, and she had such happy tears, and I sent that over to Adrian, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like what every redhead wants to feel like, because
we don't have eyebrows, yeah.
I'm sure until we fill them in,
right.
But I'm sure it's probably so amazing for this redhead, your client, to wake up and have brows.
God. Oh my God, you guys, it's life-changing for some people.
Yeah.
It really, really is. And you wouldn't think that it makes sense when you really think about it. It's right there on your face.
Mm-hmm.
And people just complain about feeling so self-conscious. They're not able to do the things that they want to do, like swim or go, anywhere that you're going to sweat, because they're like, I'm going to sweat my eyebrows off. I'm constantly asking my husband, do my eyebrows look good?
Oh God. Like they know.
I know, like they have any idea.
Yeah, right. Do we want their opinion? I don't know.
I definitely don't want my husband.
No. Yeah. But I've literally had women like crying in my studio, and it's just like, it's so fulfilling to be able to help someone in that way and boost their confidence. I mean, it's really amazing. So
yeah. So like your client that we're referring to, the redhead, does she, after getting the touch up, is she filling her eyebrows in? Are you still using eyebrow products, or after getting microbladed eyebrows, are you just ditching all of those brow gels and pomades and everything like that?
Right. So I can say that a ton of my clients ditch everything, and they are like pumped, right? But some people, I can never make any guarantees on how someone is going to heal. And, some people have different ideas of how eyebrows should look. Maybe they think they should be really, really filled in. And I just don't really feel comfortable doing something semi-permanent on someone's face that's super duper dark. So if someone likes a really filled in look, then they're probably still going to have to throw a little bit of powder on there. But I will say, even the people that say, oh, I'm just filling in a little bit, they're like, it shaves like 15 minutes off their routine. They just throw a little bit of powder on if they want them a little bit darker, and they're good to go. So even if you do have to fill in a little bit, you've really got that base there to help guide you with the shape, because that's really what takes the longest, is like shaping them, making them symmetrical. Mm-hmm. But for most women, yeah, they can ditch, whatever they were using before.
Wow. So back to color. So how do you know what color to use on a redhead? I feel like that is just such like a pivotal. I've seen some people, who do microblading, and I go through their Instagram and I see a redhead and I'm like, oh no, I just don't like that color. Or sometimes I'm just like, oh, it's too dark, or it's like
too harsh.
It doesn't even look like anything. Or what do you do? I feel like that must be really hard.
Yeah, well, redheads are definitely special. So you can go like a few different routes with it. So I like to have my clients come in with their eyebrows filled in, like how they normally have them. So I take note of how they fill them in, what that color looks like, and then that's going to influence my decision in what color I choose. So I've noticed that some redheads like to really see like that red-orange tone in their eyebrows, and others like more of a light medium brown color.
Yeah.
So I've done both, and I have pigments for either case. If someone wants to see more warmth, more red tones, more orange tones, then I have color choice for that. But it's really going to, I think the main factors are client preference. So what they prefer, that's why it's good to see them with their eyebrows filled in. And then also their natural eyebrow hair, what they have currently going on, because we want to match that up too.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm pretty good at mixing up custom colors and giving people some options. So I can actually like mix up a few different colors and then swatch them on their forehead. And that gives them an idea of kind of what it will look like.
Oh, I love that. That way you're more confident in the shade you're getting, rather than, seeing it for the first time after it's done and you're like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yes. I never want anyone to feel like that. So my clients are so involved in the process. I am telling them exactly what I'm doing the entire time. I actually draw on the brow design before I microblade, which is really like the most important part. It really sets everything up for the entire session. So that probably takes the longest, is all the measurements and drawing the outline of the design and then swatching the colors, and then the client gets to look at that. And I make sure that we're both on the same page, because that's super important, and that she feels comfortable, he or she feels comfortable, and then we actually start the microblading. So all that prep work really takes the most time. Most sessions are about 2 hours, and that takes up about an hour.
Okay.
So
it's like getting eyelash extensions for the first time. That takes about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of my clients leave like, oh my gosh, that was nothing like I expected. Like, that was so easy. So I really try to make it as easy and pain-free as possible.
And then, so if someone gets microbladed eyebrows, microblading, are you still, if the eyebrow hair is growing back, are you still going to get your eyebrows if you thread, let's say? Are you still doing that or no?
So a lot of my clients have actually reported that they don't have to do as much maintenance. They can actually just like maybe they were going every couple weeks to get waxed, but now that they have such a defined shape there and fullness, that they can kind of just like tweeze outside of the design, because they have that there all the time. So it's very easy for them to just maintain at home.
Wow.
So and there's no like scientific evidence on this, but it's very interesting. I've seen after microblading like an increase in hair growth. I don't know if it like stimulates the follicle or something, but I've seen it. I've seen it in my clients. Yeah, they've come back and been like, "Does it look like I have more hair?" And I'm like, "It kind of does." Yeah, even though I mean, like natural hair too. So.
Yeah, it might be. We were just doing a podcast about the vampire facial, and they kind of do that. They like stimulate it with needles, and then like the skin like energizes. So maybe it's the same thing.
It could be. That's so fascinating. And
but we understand there's no evidence about that. We're just discussing it.
Yeah.
For anyone who's like, you told me.
You're right. There's no evidence. I mean, like scientific hard evidence. I find it so fascinating, the whole symmetry with microblading.
Yes.
Like, how do you find the symmetry? Are you obviously you're staring at your client for X amount of hours, but how do you draw the perfect brow?
Well, I actually use this pre-inked string.
Oh,
so
okay.
I lay it on the face. So that's how I find like my points, basically, as to excuse me, as to where like the brows are going to start, where the arch should be. I use like the nose and the eyes, and then where the brows should end too, and then also like the top part of the brow, like the highest point of the arch. But I do always tell my clients, like, I can get you 90% symmetrical, maybe more, but there's so many different things. I'm basically working on an asymmetrical round, medium. So it's like, I actually posted a video on my Instagram of a woman, and when she opened her eyes, muscularly, she just pulls up one side more. So there's so many like different factors. Yeah. And there's nothing I can do about that. Obviously, she's just going to raise that eyebrow naturally more because muscularly she's stronger on that one side. So that's why like a perfect result is not always to be expected, but a lot of the time I can get really, really close.
That's
really,
awesome.
really close.
Oh my God. I feel like it's life-changing for so many people because like Adrian and I, we love our brows and we don't get we've never gotten microblading or anything like that. But I do have to say at the end of the day, if I draw my eyebrows on in the morning, by the end of the day, they just don't look the same. So having that constant, you wake up and your eyebrows are done. I couldn't imagine.
It must be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People say that it just shaves so much time, and working out and having eyebrows, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And you just have to have eyebrows all the time. Swimming, I mean, you can't really beat that. So
No.
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 Yeah.
So does it hurt?
So I've heard a few different things from clients. So I numb before. So I numb for 20 minutes while we're kind of doing a consultation and chatting. And then with a lidocaine cream. And then during the treatment, after I do the first pass of hair strokes, so the skin is a little bit broken, I put a secondary numbing on. So people say it feels like a dull scratching before I put that secondary numbing on. After the secondary numbing, it's like really pretty numb. I've done hundreds of people, maybe even close to 1,000, maybe over 1,000 at this point. And I'd say like 5 of those people ever have told me that it really hurts. It was really hurting them.
Okay. So the percentage is low.
Yeah, it's super low. And some of them are on their period or getting ready to start their period. We know that makes you more sensitive. So
wow, that's interesting to know.
Yeah, so a lot of different things go into that, like where you are in your cycle. And then, if you've had, I always advise to not have any alcohol 24 to 48 hours before, because that can make you more sensitive and it can increase bleeding, which can result in a poor healed result. So there's a lot of things. I mean, working with the human body, there's just so many different things.
Yeah. So say I'm going to get microblading. I find you, I make an appointment. How many times do I see you? Like when we get the initial consultation?
Great question, yeah.
Or do we just do it all at once, and then after I'm healing, do I see you again? And then is it a year from there? Like what does that process look like?
Yeah, so my assistant does all consultations over the phone, and then so I'd see you for your first session. And then about 6 to 8 weeks later, you'll come back for a second session. So that's really like the perfecting session.
Okay.
Semi-permanent makeup is really a layering process. So you need that second layer to really lock in the color and like perfect the brows. So a lot of clients come back and they're like just over the moon happy. They're like, oh my God, I love my brows. And it's only been one session. And I'm just like, just wait until after today. You're going to love them. And they just can't believe that they can get any better than they did after the first session. But it really makes a huge difference, that second session. So I highly advise that people come back 6 to 8 weeks later. And then after that appointment, then it's every year to a year and a half, depending on your skin type.
Wow. Okay.
And is the year and a half, is it just kind of like a routine fill-in type thing, or is this a 2-hour appointment?
I would still say that it's a 2-hour appointment.
Okay.
Because everyone's so different, and I don't know exactly how they've healed over that time or how they've faded out, but they don't need to come back like you did in the beginning. You had those two sessions. You don't need that every year. You just generally need one.
And then and then I read that sometimes the color can change. I don't know. I read it on some. Have you ever seen that where after a year? Yeah. Oh, so it does it fade?
Yes. So sadly, I've seen this in some of the older pigments.
Okay.
So even since I started doing it only 2 years ago, the technology has improved immensely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gotten so much better. Permanent makeup has really like blown up in the last couple of years. So the pigment lines now, if you're working with a good pigment line, you shouldn't see that change over time. It should just like shrink down. It shouldn't change to any color of the rainbow. It should just get kind of like opaque.
Okay.
And just kind of shrink down and get like foggy looking. But yeah, I've definitely seen some really bad old microblading that is like, and I'm not putting anyone down.
No,
it's just
totally.
Really,
yeah.
It's just really like about the pigments, I think, and just kind of being crappy. But yeah, some red brows. Red is the most common that I see, like red.
Oh, like the color, like a client will come who's had microblading?
Right, and it's faded to like a salmon color, not anything natural looking.
Right.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through your Instagram. I totally see how well you do with with red. It's very good.
It isn't it? And it's like all it's so natural.
Yeah, and I know that you're a
Oh, thank
registered
you.
nurse too. We talked about your bio before we called you, but I'm sure people really trust you because you are in the medical field but you're licensed.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from clients, and I don't take it lightly. I don't take the trust lightly. I mean, it's a big deal. Your face. I mean, your eyebrows are right there.
Yeah.
and it's pretty invasive what I'm doing. So, yeah, I've heard that a lot, that people, they're like, oh, well, you're an RN, I trust you. So, I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, that is. Well, Katie, thank you so much for coming on. You've been a wealth of knowledge, and we really appreciate your time. And we can't wait to keep up with all of your work on social media. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Guess what, Redheads? The H2 Bar Box is now offering a deluxe version of the Beauty Box, sent out 4 times a year, in addition to the monthly box. You now have 2 options for enjoying the beauty subscription box for Redheads. The monthly box is worth $80 plus, and the deluxe quarterly box is worth $250 plus.
Each and every product is Redhead friendly approved. Head to h2barbox.com to subscribe and use code podcast to receive 20% off.
So would you get microblading done?
100% after
Me
just
too.
talking to her. 100%. I think I'm so scared of the horror stories. But you look through her Instagram, it's so natural.
Mom wants to do a trip to Visalia next year.
Oh, then we might have to just do it. It's like awesome.
It is. It is life.
We'll put her Instagram handle so you guys can click it in the podcast.
And
notes.
it looks so natural. That's the biggest thing. When it comes to things like microblading, eyelash extensions, anything like that, I'm just categorizing that. But I would like things to look as natural as possible. And I think with like our eyelash extensions, again, only referring to this because we've never gotten our eyebrows microbladed, but I liked it always natural. And that's why I like her work, because I don't want people to look at me and know, oh my gosh, she gets like a tattoo or something like that on her eyebrows. But everything, it looks so natural.
Yeah, it looks so nice. I'm like,
and it shaves
that's
off
how I want my
15
eyebrows
minutes.
to look every day.
I want to wake up and my eyebrows be filled in.
Yeah, but it's probably harder than you think to find someone great. So if you're in the Fresno area, definitely contact her. That's definitely a great person to go to.
Yeah, we'll include her information in the notes section.
And I'm sure that she would suggest you, if you're anywhere, wherever you are, to definitely call a microblader, ask if they've done a redhead before.
That's so important.
She was so confident about talking about redheads.
She was.
Right away. If I talked with her on the phone, I'd be like, she knows exactly what she's doing. She's talked with redhead clients. She's had redhead clients.
Yeah. And
she can show you photos.
Right.
You don't want to be a guinea pig on someone who's just starting with microblading.
I definitely don't.
Definitely don't.
And take advantage of Instagram and look up handles like Microblading LA if you're in the Los Angeles area, just an example, and see their work. And again, if they are featuring redheads on their Instagram, that means they're confident about their work and it came out good.
Yeah. So if you want to spread the news about the How to Be a Redhead brand in this podcast, give us a 5-star review, tell your friends and everyone else listening to subscribe. You can listen to the podcast directly on howtobearedhead.com, on Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to look at the podcast notes to find links, photos, etc.
Rock it like a redhead.